Genoa City explodes with romance, scandal and holiday shockers, and nothing will be the same again. Genoa City just lived through the most unforgettable 48 hours of the year. Danny and Christine's dreamy, fairy tale wedding had the whole town swooning, until Phyllis delivered a jaw-dropping toast that left every guest frozen in place. But the real chaos was only beginning. Moments later, Christine's sudden allergic scare sent panic through the reception, igniting suspicion and tension that spread faster than the falling flower petals. And while the newlyweds tried to salvage their perfect night, Phyllis and Kane made a discovery upstairs that could blow multiple families apart. Daniel caught lip-locked with Tessa in a moment no one expected. As the romantic bliss spirals into betrayal, secrets, and damage control, the drama shifts into overdrive. Nick and Sharon uncover new clues in a dangerous race to save Noah, while Claire receives a Thanksgiving invitation that could rewrite her future with the Abbotts. Fairy tales, scandals, family wars, forbidden kisses, and life-or-death stakes, everything is unraveling at once. And if you think the drama has peaked, you haven't seen anything yet. Welcome to Celebrity Gossip 24 Hours, where the drama unfolds and the stories captivate. Join us as we delve into the intriguing world of Young and the Restless, revealing the untold tales and hidden truths behind the headlines. Y&R recap November 24th, Danny and Cricket's fairy tale wedding lights up Genoa City, while Phyllis stuns everyone with a toast no one saw coming. Genoa City kicked off Thanksgiving week with a celebration fans have waited decades to see. Danny Romalotti and Christine and Cricket Blair finally tying the knot in a joyful, emotional, and at times jaw-dropping ceremony at the GCAC. But the romance wasn't the only thing heating up the ballroom. Phyllis, queen of chaos, drama magnet, and Danny's most infamous ex, delivered a shockingly heartfelt toast that changed the mood of the entire evening. And that was before she disappeared upstairs with Kane Ashby for a round of emotional spring cleaning. Here's everything that happened in this Can't Miss Monday episode. A celebration years in the making. The newly married Mr. and Mrs. Romalotti soaked in wave after wave of congratulations as the reception kicked into gear. Christine, still glowing from the ceremony, joked that the day ran surprisingly smoothly, even though the wedding planner never showed. Diane added that Jack would have loved to be there, especially considering he helped bring Danny and Cricket together in the early years. As Cricket slipped away to change into her reception look, Danny remained in the dining room, accepting back slaps, hugs, and teasing from everyone who's watched this love story unfold for more than 3 decades. Gina poked fun at her rock star brother, insisting he's now living his own dream sequel. With a grin stretching ear to ear, Danny told Michael and Devin he feels like the luckiest man alive, and that the real rock star is the woman he married. The energy was warm, sentimental, and filled with nostalgia. But upstairs, another conversation stirred up its own set of emotions. Cricket's moment of reflection. In her suite, Cricket changed into a sleek satin gown with Nina and Lauren by her side. Nina delivered a dose of unexpected news. The floral fiasco that nearly derailed the ceremony wasn't sabotage at all, but a mix-up by sweet, scatterbrained Esther. The bride laughed it off, recalling her teenage years of cutting Danny's photos out of magazines. Now, she's married to him again. Life, she noted, has a sense of humor. Downstairs, more heartfelt speeches awaited. Toasts that honor a lifetime of love. With Cricket's return, the reception shifted into full celebration mode. Gina kicked things off, reminiscing about the pair's early days and playfully shading an unnamed shrew from Danny's past. Guests raised their glasses as she honored the couple's resilience and enduring connection. Nina shared memories of how Danny and Cricket patiently taught her proper etiquette years ago, one of many reasons she was thrilled to witness their reunion. Then Michael stepped forward with one of the most entertaining speeches of the night, revisiting Danny's old music video days and teasing him about the kidney donation that binds them for life. If Danny ever messes up, Michael joked, he's taking it back. Lauren added her own warm words before Daniel nervously rose to speak. His daughter Lucy was homesick, meaning the best man had to deliver his message solo, and from the heart. Daniel described the moment he first saw his father command a stage, transforming from just dad into someone extraordinary. But what impressed him more over the years was Danny's kindness, loyalty, and constant presence in his children's lives. Turning to Christine, Daniel called her the woman who brings his father true joy. The room erupted in applause. Then the doors opened. And everything shifted. Phyllis crashes the party, but not in the way anyone expected. Phyllis and Kane strode into the reception, and jaws tightened across the room. Many expected fireworks. Instead, Phyllis reached for a champagne flute, tears forming, and asked for the floor. Michael tried to stop her. Christine told him to let her speak. What followed was something no one, not even Kane, expected. Phyllis admitted she'd been reminded recently that people can only heal when they finally stop clinging to the past. Looking at Christine and Danny, she said it was clear they were meant to find their way back to each other. Danny's goofy grin. Cricket's persistence. Their history. Their destiny. For once, Phyllis didn't undermine their happiness. She honored it. She raised her glass. Cheers. Daniel escorted his mother out, still stunned by her emotional honesty. Moments later, music kicked in, and the night flowed into celebration. Phyllis and Kane heat up the GCAC, literally and emotionally. Upstairs in her suite, Kane and Phyllis had unfinished business. Kane wanted proof that Phyllis had truly let go of Danny. Phyllis responded by kissing him and starting a bold new game where every piece of clothing symbolized emotional baggage. Her shirt represented the heartbreak she carried over Danny. Kane's shirt represented Lily. Every item dropped to the floor marked one more grudge, regret, or expectation they were finally done with. They didn't have many clothing items left by the time the metaphor ended. Passion took over, and for the first time in a long while, both characters seemed free. Daniel faces his fear and delivers a gift straight from his soul. Back downstairs, Daniel confessed to Tessa that he didn't think he could perform the song they had planned. His dad was a rock star. What if he embarrassed himself? Or worse, her? Tessa reminded him why he learned guitar in the first place, to process his grief, to feel deeply, to connect. Music wasn't about perfection. It was about truth. Bolstered by her faith, Daniel stepped onto the dance floor with Tessa at his side. They performed a meaningful new song that left Danny and Christine swaying together, tears brimming. The lyrics spoke of endurance, love, and flames that refused to die, echoing the couple's journey beautifully. When the final chord faded, applause roared. Daniel joked that this performance marked the beginning and end of his music career. He'll leave the rock stardom to his dad. But Tessa hugged him, proud beyond words. Love, laughter, and memories filled the GCAC. The night continued with more dancing, reminiscing, and emotional goodbyes as the newlyweds prepared for their honeymoon in Paris. Danny and Christine offered one final toast, thanking their loved ones for illuminating their path back to one another. Love, they said, is rarely easy, but the right person makes every obstacle worth it. Upstairs, they finally reached their own suite, officially beginning their life together as husband and wife. Joy radiated from every moment. More heartfelt moments around the ballroom. Across the GCAC, old friends laughed about past performances. Michael and Lauren honored Chance's legacy with Nina and Diane, and Devin and Abby basked in newlywed bliss. Tessa and Daniel shared an intimate, celebratory kiss, one interrupted by Phyllis and Kane walking into the room, though neither seemed prepared for the sight. Danny and Cricket made their final descent into the lobby, where rose petals showered down as guests cheered them into their French getaway. The evening closed on the perfect blend of romance, closure, and new beginnings. Final thoughts. This was the kind of episode longtime Y&R fans dream of, a legacy romance fulfilled, nostalgic callbacks, fresh emotional twists, and just enough Phyllis-driven chaos to keep the story unpredictable. Danny and Cricket's wedding wasn't just a ceremony, it was a celebration of decades of history. And with Phyllis and Kane's connection heating up, Daniel and Tessa growing closer, and the newlyweds heading to Paris, there's no telling what fallout, healing, or surprises await when the honeymoon ends. Genoa City is glowing, for now. But this is Y&R. The next spark could ignite at any moment. Today's next update. Y&R Monday recap. Wedding joy turns to shock as Phyllis and Kane catch Daniel kissing Tessa. The Young and the Restless kicked off the week with a wedding celebration full of laughter, nostalgia, and unexpected romantic twists, ending in a moment that promises big drama ahead. What began as a joy-filled post-wedding party for Danny Romalotti and Christine Blair took a sharp turn when Phyllis Summers and Kane Ashby stumbled upon a scene they never expected. A reception filled with love and a little chaos. Danny and Christine's reception at the GCAC was buzzing with energy as family and friends gathered to toast the newlyweds. Guests shared heartfelt speeches, funny memories, and stories that highlighted just how far Danny and Christine had come to find their way back to each other. But the biggest surprise wasn't the speeches, it was the arrival of Phyllis and Kane. Phyllis crashes the mic, again. Never one to blend quietly into the background, Phyllis made a dramatic entrance with Kane and immediately insisted on offering a toast of her own. Despite the tension between the bride and her longtime rival, Christine was determined not to let anything spoil her perfect day. With a smile, she invited Phyllis to go ahead, joking that it might even be entertaining. The toast that followed was classic Phyllis, awkward, emotional, and just sincere enough to make everyone wonder if she was finally letting go of her long-standing feelings for Danny. She praised the couple as it meant to be, surprising the room before slipping away upstairs with Kane. Christine later admitted the speech wasn't terrible, considering who it came from. A game of a letting go turns heated. Once in her suite, Phyllis shifted gears. Kane pushed her to prove she was really moving forward, and Phyllis responded with a spontaneous, and very Phyllis, idea. She suggested a symbolic game where each piece of clothing they removed represented emotional baggage. Soon, Kane had shed memories of Lily and even the weight of his kids' disapproval. Phyllis tossed aside her own lingering heartbreak, using humor and intimacy to wipe away the shadows of the past. Before long, the two found themselves tumbling right back into each other's arms. Daniel faces the music, literally. Meanwhile, downstairs at the reception, Daniel Romalotti Jr. was having a crisis of confidence. Scheduled to perform a song with Tessa as a wedding gift to his father and Christine, Daniel nearly backed out, insisting Tessa would have to perform without him. But Tessa wasn't having it. With quiet encouragement, she reminded Daniel why he started playing music in the first place, to express the emotions he'd buried for too long. Inspired, Daniel took his place beside her, and together they delivered a touching performance that left the room glowing. The newlyweds make their exit. Danny and Christine enjoyed a final round of toasts before heading upstairs to change for their honeymoon. They shared a private, romantic moment before running into Phyllis and Kane in the hallway. Despite Danny's initial concern, Phyllis surprised both of them by offering warm wishes for their trip to Paris. Soon after, guests gathered to shower the couple with petals as they officially began their honeymoon adventure. A kiss that changes everything. Back in the reception hall, the night wound down as guests reminisced, danced, and shared stories. Nina found comfort in hearing tales about Chance, while Devin and Abby enjoyed feeling like their own honeymoon was still going strong. But the quiet moment didn't last. Daniel and Tessa found themselves alone together, talking softly. One thing led to another, and Daniel, caught up in emotion and connection, leaned in for a kiss. Tessa didn't pull away. Unfortunately for them, they had an audience. Phyllis and Kane walked in just in time to see the kiss, leaving Phyllis stunned and more than a little concerned about what her son was getting himself into. What comes next? If history is any indication, Phyllis won't stay silent for long. With Daniel's romantic life taking a complicated turn, and Phyllis newly entangled with Kane, the fallout from this moment is only beginning. Stay tuned, things in Genoa City are about to get messy again. Today's next update. Y&R wedding chaos, Phyllis takes the heat after Christine's sudden allergic scare rocks Genoa City. Christine's long-awaited wedding day nearly collapsed on the young and the restless, turning a moment of pure happiness into full-blown panic when an unexpected allergic reaction sparked accusations, suspicion, and emotional fireworks. And at the center of the storm? Phyllis Summers, whether she deserved it or not. A dream morning turns into a nightmare. Christine began her big day wrapped in excitement and nostalgia, surrounded by Nina and Lauren as they reminisced about youthful crushes, past heartbreaks, and the winding road that brought her back to Danny Romalotti. But the calm shattered the moment a delivery of chrysanthemums arrived at her suite. Within minutes, Christine's eyes reddened, her breathing tightened, and sneezing fits took over, a clear allergic reaction she couldn't control. Nina and Lauren panicked, scrambling to help her while trying to stop the situation from spiraling. But even before the antihistamines arrived, suspicion took a dangerous turn. Whispers turn into accusations. The timing felt far too perfect, or too suspicious, for some guests. The moment Christine reacted to the flowers, Nina and Lauren exchanged looks, their minds jumping straight to Phyllis. Decades of rivalry don't disappear overnight, and with the enemy conveniently nearby, it didn't take much to assume sabotage. Downstairs, as guests trickled into the CAC's dining room, the tension was unmistakable. Danny anxiously prepared for the ceremony while trying to shake off a growing sense of unease. Michael and Gina kept glancing toward the doors, anticipating the arrival of the person nearly everyone suspected. And when Phyllis finally stepped inside, Kane right behind her, conversations slowed. Heads turned. Guests stared her down with thinly veiled tension. Every step she took seemed to fan the flames of suspicion. Phyllis noticed, she always does, but outwardly shrugged it off. Kane stepped in quickly, urging her to stay calm and avoid confrontation. But the looks alone told the story. Most of the room was convinced she had tried to sabotage the ceremony. Christine fights through the chaos. Upstairs, Christine struggled to regain control. As Lauren dashed off in search of allergy medicine, Nina tried to soothe her, insisting that everything could still be saved. But the emotional weight hit Christine hard. This was supposed to be her second chance at the love she'd spent years believing she lost. To have the day jeopardized, possibly by someone with a vendetta, felt deeply personal. Still, with determination and support, Christine pulled herself together. By the time she entered the ceremony, she was glowing, calm, and ready to walk into a future she'd nearly lost. Why this moment matters in Genoa City. This allergic reaction wasn't just about flowers. It triggered an emotional avalanche, reopening decades of history between Christine and Phyllis. Old rivalries, unresolved wounds, and painful memories instantly resurfaced. Genoa City has watched these two battle through love triangles, heartbreaks, grudges, and betrayal. One bouquet was all it took to reignite those buried hostilities. The crisis also placed Danny and Daniel in impossible positions. Danny once again had to navigate the complicated dynamic between Christine, the woman he married twice, and Phyllis, the mother of his son. And Daniel found himself torn, defend his mother or support his father's happiness. The tension around him was impossible to ignore. This wasn't just about an allergy, it was about loyalty, history, and the fractures that still live beneath the surface. The shocking truth comes out. Everything shifted when Esther later confessed the truth. She was the one who sent the chrysanthemums, unaware of Christine's allergy. There was no plot. No sabotage. No malicious intent. The revelation landed hard. The guilt rippled through the room. Everyone who jumped to conclusions suddenly had to face how ready they were to blame Phyllis, even without evidence. Christine and her circle rallied, focusing on joy rather than resentment. The ceremony moved forward beautifully, filled with heartfelt vows and the warmth of longtime friends and family. By the time the reception began, the disaster felt like a distant memory. But the emotional damage was already done. The aftermath, a new rift begins. Phyllis may not have engineered the allergic disaster, but the speed at which nearly everyone pointed fingers guaranteed lasting consequences. The wedding survived, but the fragile peace between Christine and Phyllis may not. And in Genoa City, nothing stays buried for long. Today's next update. The Young and the Restless, Tuesday, November 25th, clues, confrontations and a Thanksgiving invite that no one saw coming. Tuesday's episode of The Young and the Restless brings a tense blend of danger, strategy, and unexpected emotion as several storylines hit major turning points. From Sharon and Nick racing to find their missing son to Victor pushing Adam into a ruthless corporate ambush, and Claire Newman receiving an invitation she never expected, viewers are in for a high-stakes hour in Genoa City and beyond. Sharon and Nick follow the trail, a mother's prayer, a father's discovery. In Los Angeles, the pressure intensifies as Sharon and Nick continue playing along with Matt Clark, still posing as Mitch Bacall. His rules are strict, his threats are chilling, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Noah and Sienna's lives hang in the balance. Sharon struggles to maintain her composure, desperate to stay rational while fearing the worst. Nick, meanwhile, refuses to be intimidated and focuses on staying one step ahead of Matt's demands. The pair slowly piece together clues that point toward a storage facility, one that may be serving as the grim holding site for their loved ones. Before they enter the next phase of their search, Sharon pauses for a quiet moment of prayer, clinging to hope that Noah is still strong enough to hang on. It's then that Nick stumbles across a small but crucial clue, something that could finally narrow down Noah's location and turn their frantic search into a targeted rescue. Inside the storage unit, Noah and Sienna continue battling fear and exhaustion. But hope sparks when they hear faint sounds, maybe footsteps, maybe voices. If Nick and Sharon are close, they might finally break through the nightmare that's been unfolding. Victor and Adam plot their next strike, Billy in the crosshairs. Back in Genoa City, Victor calls Adam in for another private strategy discussion. Fresh off Adam's suggestion to convince Jill Abbott to pull her funding from Abbott Communications, Victor is still intrigued, but he also knows Jill isn't someone who can be easily manipulated. Still, Victor is not deterred. He pushes Adam to move forward, encouraging him to create maximum chaos during the upcoming launch party. The more scandalous the announcement, the more distracted Billy will be, and that distraction is exactly what Victor needs to make a larger play against Jack and the entire Jabot empire. Whether Jill will actually pull out or not remains uncertain, but Victor makes one thing clear: Adam is to play dirty, no hesitation allowed. If Adam follows through, Billy's reputation, and Abbott Communications itself, may be in for a very messy Thanksgiving week. Claire's Thanksgiving twist, a sweet invite with complications. Meanwhile, Thanksgiving preparations begin in Genoa City, with the Abbott family planning a warm, festive gathering. But one storyline takes a surprisingly tender turn: Claire Newman finds herself the recipient of an invitation she never expected. Given the complicated web connecting Claire to the Abbotts, and the trauma she's still trying to work through, attending their holiday celebration isn't exactly an easy decision. Yet someone close to the family changes everything. There's speculation that Kyle may extend the offer, but it's far more likely that Harrison, innocent and endlessly pure-hearted, is the one who invites her. Harrison's affection for Claire has been growing, and he may innocently ask if she'll join them for Thanksgiving. With Kyle backing his son's enthusiasm, Claire suddenly finds herself unable to turn them down. Despite her nerves, Claire agrees to at least stop by. It's a major step forward for her character, one that could strengthen connections or stir up new complications in the Abbott household. What's next? With Noah possibly within reach, Victor escalating his corporate war, and Claire stepping into a family she's still learning to trust, the tension heading into Thanksgiving is only just beginning. The Young and the Restless promises more twists as each storyline barrels toward major reveals, emotional confrontations, and surprising alliances. Stay tuned because nothing in Genoa City stays peaceful for long. For more of the latest updates and behind-the-scenes secrets from Young and the Restless, make sure to hit subscribe and ring that bell. Stay in the know with every new release.